guys, and welcome to Angling For You. Today you join me on the deck for another lockdown video. Left it to a bit to the end of the day today, so the light is fading a little bit, but hopefully it won't matter too much on what we're doing. Now, I did a little video about my rambling waggler setup yesterday, and I got quite a few bits of feedback, which is really good, and a lot of messages of people saying what else of kind of gear do I take rambling with me, or when I go exploring, or on a short light session when you just want to walk and take a few bits of gear. So I'm going to show you a few bits. The first thing I'm going to bring over to you, I'll sort of move this table and put it there, is I can take it on rambling, and I do take it on rambling sessions sometimes if it's on rivers, because it is quite easy to carry. But I also use it on my overnights or my river slash canal sessions as well. So we'll just move that out of the way. So it's my tripod. Now this bad boy, Matt traced this down from this guy, and I can't remember, it was something like a 10 or 15 quid. It was a right bargain. And as you'd imagine, it's a telescopic style tripod. So that first piece comes off onto there like so, and it's got extendable legs. We might be sort of limited to what we can show on camera here in regards to it being visible, but we'll do as best. So realistically, it's got adjustable legs like you'd expect. It can go a lot higher than that, and it's got an adjustable stem for depending on what size rod you've got, what scenario, what area you're of, and it's got two hold holes on the top here, which, if you can see, are slightly curved on the outside, so that's usually to stop at pulling the rod out of the rest. This is maneuverable if you want to unscrew this and push that bar through and make it further that way. And at the other end, I'll just collapse the legs a little bit, there's a couple of sort of little butt holders as well, and just a really useful piece of kit. And like I say, I don't do that much of the river stuff as I'd like to do. Like you've seen on the other videos, sort of let Matt take a lot of that on, but Matt suggested getting it with, and for like 10, well, it would have been like 10 or 15 quid, whatever, I thought worth a little bargain to have. So really good thing to carry about with you if you've got it. So the thing that I do take when I go rambling is a little bit of a sort of it's a little bit like a trout-style net, and again, really inexpensive. I've had jacks up to £5-6 in there, and handles that with ease. You could shuffle a decent carp in there, to be fair. It's really soft rubber finish to it, and it's really short, so it's for these little snaggy venues, or if you're reaching down off a canal and you don't want to swing them fishing, especially if you're using that 4.5 pound line that we showed you yesterday. I always like to carry a net with me. It's got a nice little push button and falls down really easy. It's got a nice little belt adapter. What I tend to do is bring my bag in there if I'm walking around for a certain amount of time. Then I normally just slide it onto my bag like so, and then obviously I can carry that over my shoulder, and this will hang off the side like so, and I know it's not going to be losing it anywhere, and I can take it on and off as I need it. I have got one other box, and I'm not going to bore you with it because we did obviously the floats video about the various different floats. Effectively, it's a little plastic box, and it's got all my different sort of floats, trotting floats, wagglers, all the loaded and unloaded ones we showed you, along with some shot, some hooks, and a little bit of Gen-Pro line just to make hook links, and that's it really. And the swivels and everything that you've seen before yesterday when we did the waggler fishing video, all those kind of little bits and bobs are in that box. It's just in the bottom of the shed, and the light, like I said, the light's going, and I really don't want to have to get all that out. But it is quite a cool little bag, this, I'll be honest. Again, not a lot of money, didn't spend a lot of money at all on it, probably around that 15-20 quid range. these boxes here, this box is here, I'll go into what's inside, but that little box there is what came with my Daiwa tawny box, and I just kept onto those little boxes. I always have a really cheap landing net on, just in case if you do hook a bonus fish, and it's always good for fish care just to have a landing net, sorry, not a landing net, an unhooking mat just with you. It's not, again, it's a cheap and cheerful one, it's not expensive, and it's just something to keep obviously the fish care. So I'll just put that down there out of the way. So these are the main 2 boxes that I've got in here at the moment. Ooh, some KKB 14s. That's useful. Have a little bit of Country Life bar in the bottom. We'll go into what else is in the side pockets after. So we've got some little jiggy worms here. Some little, basically these are slightly flavoured, and they're just jelly, and hook them onto the hooks that we use for drop shotting or jigging. And this is pretty much what my box is around. This is my sort of jiggy drop shot kind of box. I've got loads of different little spoons and spinners in there. Ones with feathers on. I've got my drop shot weights in there. Various different rubbers for fish. I tend to do really well on these sort of roachy or sort of sprats kind of small fish, fry kind of sized for perch. I always seem to do really well on those. If you're after a big perch, sometimes I haven't got many of them actually, but a little bit bigger version of the perch colour. Sometimes if it's murky water, a nice bright one like that, or like this, will work really well. And again, if you're wanting fry size for smaller perch, I can use these ones as well. But I've got little random things in here like crayfish. You can actually catch chub on those as well, believe it or not. Little bloodworms, and again, just a various array of colours. Technicolor Dream Coat in here of different colours. Now I do have a few rattles in here, not too many. I've got this little tiger striped one. I've got this little miniature perch wobbler bait. I've got a couple of drop shotting hooks there. Another silver spoon, and then I've got some drop shot weights and some little line to nylons hooks there. In there, and I keep those all together, and that one on top. And then in this one here, I've got some little jigger. So you basically attach to your line, and then get your fish of whatever that is. And I like to go through the nose and out through the top. So what you want to do is hook on, and just push that on as far as you can onto the bend of the hook, and then turn that over like so. And you'll see that point of the hook comes out the top, and you've got a lovely little wobbly bait with that hook showing straight on, fish on, and they work really well. You just sometimes vary your hook sizes. Like I say, we can go into that if you want to do a video on it. You can go into variously smaller sized hooks for that, but that's my main jig box, and I have got other bits and bobs out and about. There's one of the little perchy ones, you can see there, one of the little perchy orientated ones, and that's got a different sort of drop jig sort of head on it. Just grab that one off here, slightly smaller hook, that one, and obviously it's got a weight and the eye on the top ready to take that on. Got various little swivels, like I was saying, for floats. Got some B911s in there, and they're a hook to nylon, 3 to 6 pound. I don't want to be messing about tying stuff when I'm going out and about rambling, just want it ready to hand. The Kamasan's B911s, perfect little thing. And I've got some pole float stops, again what we were talking about when we were making the waggler rig, but I also use them for the pike rigs for the float that slides up and down. And I've got a few of the bigger lures when we're going for jack pike and things like that. Always keep them in there. Always have a knife in there with me. always have a penknife. You never know what you're going to need. I've got a few wire traces tied up here in these bags. I got them off a guy on the pike site, really good. Double barbed, double sets of hooks with triple barbs on, really strong, coated, heat shrinked, everything. They are military sharp, they are, them hooks. And not too much of a barb on, so they're not an absolute ball ache to get out when you've got them. So put them B911 KKMBs in there. So not tons in that one. This, I'm starting to build my gear. I have got, like I said, I've got another one of these boxes exactly the same, and that's got my floats and whatnots in it. But like, I'm working with Matt, and I'm starting to build my sort of rambling style river canal gear up for pike and for barbel and things like that. So one of my other, I've got two rods basically, two 2.5 test curve carp rods. One's got a float set up for pike and one's got a ledyard set up for pike. I use also the ledyard one for barbel on the rivers, and I've got two rods coming from, which I'm buying off Matt, Drennan rods, which go along with that as well, so I can do a little sort of talk round on those when I get them. Spin it round to the front. Right, so in this one, this is just my box of bits here. So on here we've got another couple of drop shot rigs, and they're already up on the spool. I got those as a little extra just on the bundle, and some more of those multicoloured one. Got some Suplex fluorocarbon here, 6.4, and again, just something if I'm tying rigs, I always like to have with me if needs be. A pair of scissors is essential. Now I've got some braid, which is for my piking. I've got, this one is 15-pound braid, so I always have a spare spool of that. And then I've got another spool here. This one's mono, and I use this obviously for a lot of barbel fishing. And this one's 15-pound corum line, really good line. I've got that on my other bait runner. It's brilliant. So wire cutters. Matt obviously did a fishing video on pike fishing. If you haven't checked that out, it's such a good watch. He has proper wire cutters. I use my pliers. Obviously they've got wire cutters on there. Always need them if you're fishing canals or anything like that. If you're tangled in the net, you need to clip that wire so then you can get those hooks out safely. And speaking of safety, long nose pliers, massive bad boys. That is the thing I do definitely not want to do, is get my hands near a pike's mouth without a pair of these bad boys in my hand. That is for damn sure. And like I say, I'm not aiming all this to just be at piking or barbel fishing. That little waggler, I'm here to catch small fish, everything. This little powder bait is to put on basically fish when you want to, just as an extra attractor. So like if you're putting dead baits out for pike or anything like that. Not really use much of it, if I'm honest. It came with a bundle along with this one, and these are little sort of fake bloodworms, and again I've caught on those, perch on those, and it's just something else to have in your bag of tricks when you're out there. So let's just put those back in and we'll get to the other pocket. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of things I think about when I'm fishing. I've really refined my gear over the years, and I try not to have too much rubbish, or not rubbish, but too much stuff that I don't need. And I'm just trying to build a small river bag that covers river, it covers pike, and it covers the essentials that I need to take with me if I'm fishing for silvers and stuff. And it's just such a good small bag. Those little cases are great. I'm sure a lot of you guys have those as well. A little bit of rubbish in that side. So I have in here just a Daiwa rod tape. So basically, if I want to fasten my rod together with these straps, I can do so. So if I'm carrying it for a longer, or I'm going through brambles and I don't want them opening up, mainly with your pike rods, it just allows you to put that around your rod. Like I said, I've got some shot that I always have in there with me. I've got so much random stuff. I've got some more. These are B911 F1 hooks, and these are £3 size 18. Just pick these rubbish up. And the reason I have those in there, if you're fishing for dace and things like that on the river, and it's just really light line, and it's just better for catching the smaller fish. I've got some float rubbers in there. These float rubbers to go over the top of the stick floats and the base of the stick floats, just because it's all in line. We'll obviously do a video on that. I just need to get some stick floats because it got obliterated when we did the catch video. That's a load of crap. And this bad boy is some more extra line that we've got for tying little bits of leaders and things like that. Yeah, it's microfilament braided line. So again, when you're doing little rigs and stuff like that, then it's good to have. Wire wise and things like that, like I say, I'm not a master with the wire, so Matt tries to teach me bits and bobs when I can, and I'll buy from a reputable person if it's stuff like that to do for your traces for jigging. You should always put a wire trace on, even if it's a thin wire trace, if you're going to jig for perch, because there's a great chance you're going to catch a jack, and you don't want it swimming around with a lure in its mouth or anything like that. And I do have one of these in here. This is actually a knife glove from work, and I put this in just for a little bit of extra protection with pike. That is a really good reason, actually. I'm a beginner when it comes to pike fishing, handling pike, so I treat the pike with utmost respect, and I always wear a glove with my handle in hand until I am confident that I know how to grip properly, and that I'm not going to, if I do slip, I'm not going to cause myself or the fish any incidents. So I'll wear a soft glove, and yeah, if it grabs onto you and bites straight onto it, then yeah, you're still going to get a little mark, but at least abrasive wise, I'm not going to get cut. So that's it really. Little, I'm going to call it rambling setup. You can call it river, piking, transit setup, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much what I have. I've got a little chair that I have, just a fold down standard green khaki chair that Matt gave me a bit back, and I do take that when we go on rivers and things like that, when I'm going to sit down for a bit more. But a lot of times when you're on the move, I don't really sit down at all, and I suppose you could get those little fold up ones that could attach, but it's all about that little bit of exploration and going and finding somewhere new, getting under a tree, seeing if you can catch some big rudd or some nice roach under there, and you don't get to do that as often as you used to do, and especially it's not something that you do on a commercial. Yeah, all right, and when everybody goes on a night, there's a couple of hours maybe where it's dead and you could go on and dob on people's pegs and maybe catch a few after they've thrown the bait in. Nothing wrong with doing that, but this little setup is just, and that's, say if I go around the country sometimes, well, a lot of times we work, just to have that in the car. To have that in the car, it takes up no space. That, a little net, it's got my little unhooking mat on there. I don't really need this half at time. I'll take my waggler rod, once it's folded in half, it's only that big, that little rod, and I can just crack on, and I can even, it's light enough to even put a double BB sort of ledger rig on there to do little rivers and streams. I've got some great sites that are in like North Yorkshire, and there's so many little places you can just wander around if I'm staying over there. So, and I've got one in Norfolk as well, so I don't even need to say anything about people that know when you live in Norfolk, it's absolute mecca for this exploration kind of fishing. So yeah guys, it's just thought a little run through that would be of interest. There's obviously a few people that asked what else sort of kit wise I went with it, and that's it really that's in there. And yeah, just keep firing those little what you want me to do next things, because we're now getting to that area where we are sort of running out of things really, because you can't really do too much bait up because we're not going to be going fishing. Rigs wise, the sort of limit again from moving on from there. I know a lot of people are asking me to do floating feeder. I would love to, but I haven't got any floating feeders with me. I've tried to look online to get some, and there's just none about at the moment. So if I can get that, I'll do one on the floating feeder rig. Maybe I could tie a few feeder rigs up if that's what you want. Just let me know in the comments, and we'll see if we can get it knocked out for you. But as always, thank you for watching. It's really enjoy doing these little videos, and it's keeping me a little bit sane, hopefully keeping you all a little bit sane as well. And thank you for your support as always. Join us on the Facebook group if you want to sort of connect with us and have a little show on the group. Every Friday at the moment while we're in lockdown, 7 o'clock, we're having a question and answers live stream with myself and Matt, where you just come on, you can message what you want, we'll answer every question we can on there, and you know, you can get that interaction directly with us. So join us on that Facebook group. We hop over to the Instagram around 8 o'clock on Fridays to do the live stream on there, just a follow up of the same live stream, but for people that don't have Facebook. So that's angling_for you. And thank you, share with your friends, like and subscribe guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Tight lines.